Before we begin our 2019 Honda Insight review, what I'd like to do is show you something I've only shown you one other time in the last 8 years and over 200 videos that we've done on the Rosenthal Auto YouTube channel. And that is my legs. Yes, this is only the second time I've ever worn shorts. And just as a little trivia quiz, can anybody remember the first car review video in which I wore shorts? If you do, put a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, and for those of you that say to yourselves, you know, Steve, I really don't care about what you wear, back to our regularly scheduled review. Today, we're going to be looking at the 2019 Honda Insight. And it's no secret that Honda was the first auto manufacturer to introduce a hybrid back in 1999 in the United States as the 2000 Insight Edition. And that first generation ran from 2000 to 2006. Then it took a little hiatus, came back in 2010 with a run until 14, and now we're back with the third generation. And we are just excited because maybe just this once, maybe this time, the third time's the charm. Let's take a close look at it and find out. Everyone recognizes that the Honda Insight, well, in the past took a very sort of strange hybridish look, as many of the manufacturers' hybrids did. But now we have a much cleaner and meaner and leaner looking hybrid. A good looking car that also gets you amazing fuel efficiency. What we understand though is that it's based on the Civic platform, but I believe it takes its styling cues more from the Honda Accord. And I like the fact that it's not over-badged. They're not trying to beat it in your brain that this is a hybrid. It's more subtle and sophisticated. And I think that's a good thing. It's a good-looking hybrid. And it comes in 3 models. The base LX will come in running about $22,380 plus, of course. The EX edition, next one up, will run you $24,060 plus. And if you go to the top of the line Touring edition, like we're looking at here, that's going to run you only 28 grand and change plus. I like my plus. All of the Insights come with LED headlights, daytime running lights, as well as backup lights. But when you step up to the top of the line Touring edition, you have full LEDs, high beams, low beams, as well as turn signals and integrated turn signals in the side mirrors. All LEDs. Yay, Insight. Maybe you can hear this little humming noise because the engine's turned on. Or shall we say the electric motor's turned on right now. And that's one of the great things about a hybrid. And I can see myself. Hello, hello. Extra chrome everywhere up front. Hey, eyes up here, ladies and gentlemen, eyes up here, huh? Focus on where the magic really happens. This is where you get the best of both worlds. You have a combination Atkinson Cycle 1.5 liter 4-cylinder inline 16-valve dual overhead cam variable valve timing electronically controlled engine that will generate 107 horsepower, 99 pound-feet of torque. But that's used primarily in heavy acceleration situations or where you're cruising at highway speeds. Its primary function is to spin 2 electric motors that are going to recharge the 60-cell lithium-ion battery pack. And that will generate 129 horsepower, 197 pound-feet of torque for a combined of 151 horsepower, 197 pound-feet of torque. The Insight has an independent suspension with McPherson struts in front and a 5-link rear suspension. Plus, you do get on the EX and the LX the 16-inch wheels, but with the Touring edition, you move up to a 17-inch rim. You can see that Honda has taken the bright chrome trim accents from the front, extended them to the rear diffuser as well. You do notice that it is a hybrid with no exposed exhaust pipes, but there is one. and it's down underneath on this one side. And you want to remember that because if you're in a heavy snow area and you have a heavy snow drift you're backing into, you don't want to clog that exhaust pipe. So remember, it's on that side. It's easy to forget. Even though the Honda Insight isn't a hatchback like a lot of the hybrids are, you still have a tremendous amount of cargo space back here. In the Touring Edition, you get 14.7 cubic feet of cargo space, while the EX and LX get 15.1. And it is a carpeted area. There isn't an emergency spare tire back here, but there is an inflator kit, and there's extra storage area. But as I understand it, I believe if you wanted to purchase an emergency spare tire, you could fit one down here in the wheel well. The base LX has a solid folding rear seat, but EX and above, they get the 60/40, which is easily controllable, boom, and released in the back. Even though it kind of looks like a 70/30 to me, let's measure it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it splits. Well, back here in the back seat, you'll see that it's room for 2 very easily, room for 3 in a pinch, not so bad. The only problem is the headroom back here, even for me. Now this does have the moonroof, which is available in the Touring Edition. This is incredible. Ba-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. It's just an armrest. Just thought you'd like to see it. I'm a little surprised there aren't any air vents back here, but I guess, you know, it's a economy vehicle of sorts. But there is plenty of leg room and knee room, which is great. It's just the headroom that's a little bit tight. So just keep your tall friends at home and let the kids have fun back here. With the push of a button, all of the trim levels come with the push start stop. But with the hybrid, it's quiet. It just gives you a simple message, ready to drive. And you put it in drive, and away you go. It's just an ethereal experience. You'll have to check it out for yourself. Da-da-da. Let's go. Accelerate. Ba-ba-ba-boom. Got it in sport. Boom. A little more throttle response along the way, a little tighter steering to a degree. You have your electronically controlled steering, and it is speed sensitive, so the higher speeds it'll tighten up naturally, lower speeds it'll loosen up a bit. On either side of in our Touring Edition leather-wrapped steering wheel, these are not paddle shifters. This is the deceleration selector, and it'll give you 3 different levels of brake regeneration sensitivity. So I'm in the highest one. Da-da. Got to juice up that battery somehow. Now the EX and above get the keyless entry, which is a great feature to have. Plus you have your new non-transmission transmission, the electronic continuous variable transmission, which really does its magic by making this machine move and groove. Some people think it's a little odd because it's all push button, but I find it very intuitive. There's nothing mysterious about it. You have a park button, boom, you park. You pull back on reverse because you want to go backwards. You got a neutral if you want to just cruise and go nowhere at all. And you have your drive button. What could be simpler than that? An electronic parking brake. Remember how big those old parking brakes used to be? And you'd have to pull it way back to engage it. Well, that's all you do with the button. You just pull it back, it engages. Push it forward, and it disengages. This is a simple transmission and highly responsive, even though you get the electric torque and the engine sound is just not quite matching up completely. You have your little area here for storage of your cell phone or what have you. It's not a wireless charger, but what the heck. But inside the center armrest, that's where you have a cavernous display of cup holders. They move, they slide. You got your armrest that moves and grooves. You can put dividers in there. You have a tremendous amount of flexibility in the center console, and that's a good thing. The interior is so quiet. You have acoustic glass throughout the vehicle itself. You have additional soundproofing, but you do hear the engine whine just a little bit when you press it hard, but typically you're not going to press it that hard that often, so it shouldn't be an issue. Now we're going in a little square here. This gives you a nice feel. Look at the brakes. You have, of course, your ABS braking system, electronic brake force distribution, all those wonderful things. And the vehicles come, all of them, with the Honda Sensing suite of safety features. And they also have driver assistance features as well. So it's one of those things where you just can't put a price tag on safety, and Honda wants you covered from top to bottom. Of course, each of the trim levels come with a little bit different amount of safety, but we'll cover that in just a second. I'm just going in this circle here because it's fun. People around me are going, "What are you doing?" I'm having an insightful moment. Get it? Insightful moments. You know what's interesting that I've noted is that it is so quiet in here, you can actually hear my hands sliding on the steering wheel. Huh? And you know the sad thing is, now that I point it out, you're going to hear it the entire review. Take that, viewers. Sorry. You have a very nice, open and inviting interior, at least in the front. As I mentioned, the back is just a little bit tighter for the rear passengers, but the front's very nicely laid out. And you have an electronic information display right up front on the left-hand side of your screen. It'll give you such feedback as the power flow of your hybrid system as you're driving. Thank you. As well as a variety of different readouts that you can go through. You got your eco mode, your gauges only, safety support, maintenance, driver attention, driver support, traffic sign recognition. If you have the navigation built in, you can access that. And the right side is an analog speedometer, which I think is an interesting mix of old school and new school. All right, it's peppy. It's peppy. But when you get this kind of fuel efficiency, it's a fair trade-off. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to tell you the average miles per gallon that you could get with the EX and LX, and there's a little bit less for the Touring, because if I do, then I have to put a huge disclaimer from Honda on the video, and I just don't want to encumber you with all of that. But you can go anywhere and everywhere and find out the excellent fuel economy you're going to enjoy with the 2019 Insight. The LX trim level comes with a 5-inch multimedia screen that has Pandora integration in it, as well as the Bluetooth audio streaming. That's what I was thinking of. So that's a smaller screen. This one, of course, we're looking at with the EX and above, comes with an 8-inch screen. You get the LX's adaptive cruise control across the board, forward collision warning. You have lane keep assist, road departure mitigation. You have brake mitigation as well, which comes in handy. Traffic sign recognition, like I mentioned on my readout. It says 35 miles, so I know what we're supposed to do at least. You have the standard rear view camera. Here, I can put it in reverse and show you. Here, watch. I'm in a light. Boom. Standard rear view camera. Now I'm going to put it in drive, or it could get ugly here. You have LED ambient center console lighting, which is really nice. Plus, you have the 1 amp USB connectivity for the front here. As you step up into the EX and above, you'll see here you have the 2.5 USB connectors. And of course, each of them are going to have, the LX and the EX and above are going to have your 12-volt system as well. And there you go. Away we go. The independent suspension we were talking about before, it does a very nice job of soaking up the bumps. It's not a luxury suspension. Of course, I've got it in sport mode. When you have enough juice, you put it in the EV mode, and that'll help take over for the engine system when needed. And you put the Econ, it's a nice blend of both as well. And then, of course, your sport mode, which gives it that fun appeal. A little heavier throttle response, steering, things of that nature. Now, the 8-inch screen with the EX and above comes with the Honda Link infotainment system, and that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration available for those appropriate phones. And that's what a lot of people do. They'll just use their navigation straight off their smartphones. On the 8-inch screen, you have your navigation, you have your phone. All of this is touch sensitive. You do have volume control, tactile feels, plus your hard buttons here for your home system, back, day-night visibility. See, it's asking me for brightness right here, as well as punching forward or backwards. And you do have some of the redundant controls here on your steering wheel as well. And you can, just with a swipe and a touch, everything is at your fingertips. You can go to your settings systems. There's our power flow right there. Let's see. Ooh, look at that. That's so cool. Check that out. I like it. This is a very nimble, compact car. It's nice to be able to zip in and out of traffic as needed. And you have good visibility across the front and the sides, very large mirrors, fold-in mirrors, and of course we have our LED integrated turn lights in those as well. And with the blind spot detection you have available, that will pop up there. One of the things you get with the EX and above is the walk-away auto lock feature, which simply means if you close your doors and you have your key fob in your pocket and you step about 10-15 feet away, it'll automatically lock the doors. And EX above, you get the remote engine start feature, which is wonderful. Now with the Honda Lane Watch camera system that's on this vehicle, I can push the button on my turn signal up here and it'll illuminate my large screen dead center. And that's great to see what's creeping up on my blind spot. Now I can turn it off with the push of a button, or anytime I turn the turn signal on, it also illuminates the camera. And that's a very nice driver assistance feature. I promised to show you the turning radius. I'm sorry, I totally forgot. All right, we're gonna try it now. Tight turning radius. Now on top of all of those other features we just mentioned, the Touring Edition, the top of the line, gets the leather seating surfaces, which is beautiful, especially on the steering wheel. It feels great. You have the moonroof up front, which is very, very nice. You also have dual climate controlled air conditioning. You have the heated front seats, of course, and you can even turn this into a Wi-Fi hotspot, should you so desire. And you have the onboard navigation system, which is very nice, very crisp, and very responsive. So you get a lot of bang for your buck. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is if you look at the little fuel pump icon on your instrumentation cluster, it has a little arrow pointing to the left. That just lets you know your fuel filler door is on the left. A lot of people don't know those little things. And it's the little things that make your life easier. As far as stereo systems are concerned, the LX is equipped with a 6-speaker, 160-watt stereo system. The EX model gets 8 speakers, 180 watts, and then when you jump up to the Touring Edition, you have 10 speakers, 450 watts of power. If you're looking to drive a really good-looking vehicle that gets incredible fuel efficiency and has the latest safety as well as driver assistance technology with Honda's history of reliability and low-cost ownership, then I think you owe it to yourself to give the 2019 Honda Insight a close look. Because if you do, I think you'll really like what you see. Some people might be wondering, how come you're wearing sunglasses on a cloudy day? Well, the fact of the matter is, this morning when we started this journey, it was bright, sunny, hot, and blistering, hence the shorts. But you know what I've discovered? It's very comfortable doing car reviews in shorts. I can see why so many car reviewers do it. I don't know if I'd do it in December, but just saying.